What's going on, music producers? In today's video, I want to walk you step by step through the blueprint of the peak enjoyment method for making music. It took me literally years of trial and error to create, organize, and simplify it for you, so I highly suggest you start taking notes. If you haven't quite yet, you need to start taking notes. Not to mention, I got this board up here because I'm your teacher. Yeah. In the last 3 videos, I spoke about my problem with music producers that purposely teach you these overcomplicated ways of beat making just to confuse you. The power of us making beats within our flow state, the necessity of doing the 10-minute beat challenge to hack into your flow state, and then also the proper way to use shortcuts like loops and plugins to mentally set the perfect plate, there go your plate again, for your flow state. And since I know some of you are probably watching this video first in a 6-part series, I must ask you to pause this video for just a second and go watch the videos from 1 to 3, because if you don't do it, you're only cheating yourself, my friend. So with that said, I got my black marker and I'm ready, so let us dive right into the peak enjoyment blueprint for making beats. So far, I've been able to provide you with some general areas to focus in on first, but now we get to actually break down the complete game plan for the peak enjoyment method. Step 1, and please excuse my writing because I know I got chicken scratch up here, but I'm gonna do this and I'm doing this for you. Record a 10-minute beat challenge. When putting this game plan together, I noticed that producers needed to see what they look like under pressure. They needed to see themselves on camera in their most vulnerable state so that they could identify the issues that may be hindering their enjoyment. So many producers did not even realize how much their body language, their facial expressions, and beat making process gave away the problems that they thought only they knew about. No, we all see it too. Step 2, create a solid regimen. Before you dive headfirst into changing your approach to making beats, you must first address your habits before you even hit the studio. In this step, you will need to establish a winning pregame ritual that will help you set yourself up for success on a consistent basis. Things like drinking more water, having specific times for breaks and eating when making beats, exercise in the morning, lightening up your breakfast, no more heavy waffle pancake breakfasts like some of y'all be doing. Next, look into practicing meditation. After that, learn how to journal. Just write your thoughts out on paper, dump your thoughts out so they're no longer hindering you during the beat making process. After that, find some hobbies outside of just making music. Sometimes we hyper focus so much on it that we obsess over its positives and its negatives. So find some hobbies. Go get a puzzle. Do something a little bit out of your character. Something that you're terrible at is even better. And then the last one is probably more advice for myself. Get some more sleep, fam. I know some of us are night owls, but we need to get sleep. It's just as important as the hard work that we do. And as you can tell, that's one I'm still working on. Step 3, temporarily turn your music back into a hobby. Ooh, you're not gonna like this one. This one is by far the most controversial yet powerful step in the peak enjoyment blueprint. I want you to temporarily shift your focus from producing beats to make money, selling beats and all things like that, to discovering how would you produce beats if money wasn't even a factor. Before you even open up FL Studio, fam, you need to relieve yourself of the unnecessary pressure that the need of money puts on your beat making and mixing process. In this step, you will rediscover why you truly started to make music. Step 4, develop a bias towards action. Step 4 is definitely one of the most important ones. You have to develop a bias towards action when making beats, especially if you want to tap into your flow state. In this step, you need to challenge yourself to get comfortable making split-second decisions before you can start outthinking and overthinking the process when putting your beats together. You must establish a system that makes making beats easier for the artists within you to play. And don't think you gotta change everything or do something drastic. I mean, doing little things like creating your own FL Studio presets and templates, it will help dramatically shift your workflow. In doing so, you will literally create the foundation necessary, that plate that you need to unlock your producer flow state. Step 5, simplify your mixing process. In this step, you have to consider ways to rethink your mixing process. In fact, I'm willing to bet that no matter where you're at level-wise or where your experience is at, there's room to simplify your process. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? No, I know I'm not wrong. And for those of you out there that are like real techie about your mixing process, I'm not telling any of you to dumb it down, because as we learned earlier, it is important for us to take on challenges that are one step, just one step above our skill level if we want to achieve flow. I just want you to redirect your energy into areas that give you more freedom to grow. When I personally approach mixing and mastering my beats, I keep the scientist part of my brain, kick his ass out, on a short leash. Because most times less is more. We know that less is more. I think that it's more important to achieve what I call an emotional mix first, before you even thinking about getting really technical into creating a clean mix. Step 6, find your real purpose as a producer. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but not every producer on earth was put here to sell beats online. In today's era, there are so many more ways for music producers to make a living doing what they love. But the reason why most producers don't tap into more avenues is because they either don't know about them, don't think it's possible for them personally, or they just don't know their purpose for making music. Fam, what is your purpose? Speaking of which, let's talk about that. How do you find your purpose? You can start with these 3 simple questions inspired by an entrepreneur and doctor named Farrah Gray. The first question, I want you to write this down. What naturally comes easier for me as a producer, but is typically more difficult for other producers to achieve? Do you make drum loops just smacking that most people are like, man, how do you do that? Do you develop hi-hat patterns that just come super easy to you while it may take somebody hours and hours to do? You have something within you that is your unique skill set, something that people just immediately gravitate towards. What is that? Identify that. Make a list of those things. The second question I want you to ask, and I definitely want you taking notes, what do I already enjoy about being a producer that nobody has to pay me for in order to enjoy? I'm not saying you want to do this free for the rest of your life, but what is it that you enjoy the most about the process that nobody has to kick you in the butt to do? Nobody has to pay you or incentivize you to do it. You just love it so much. It's just, it's aligned basically with your purpose. And the last question, and a question that really sits near and dear to me because it's the work that I do. What do I do as a producer that helps improve the lives of other producers and or people just in general, listeners and just folks that consume music? This is something that means so much to me because I truly believe in a saying by Tony Robbins that the secret to living is giving. If you cannot find a way to align what you're doing in a way that it helps other people, it's probably not your purpose. This one is so near and dear to me, but all of these are actually just as important as one another. I want you to make sure that whatever you are trying to identify as your purpose must meet all this criteria. If it's only 2 of those questions, you need to identify something else as your purpose or figure out more creative ways to make it align with these 3 questions, but it's non-negotiable. You see, this is the information I live and die by as a music producer. This peak enjoyment method that I've created is a part of my life, passion, and purpose as a beat maker. This is why I'm so hyped to cover this in so much more detail within my new Music Producer Power course. The fact that I could combine the 2 subjects that I personally love the most in beat making / mixing and also producer mental health, it's a game changer for the producer community. So as you absorb all this information that I've been giving you so far, definitely keep a lookout for my upcoming course. I have to encourage you, sign up to the early bird list. You can get more information in the description below. In the next video after this, I'm going to show you a producer just like you that went through my peak enjoyment method in training and literally changed his life. I want you to see what the results look like when you as a producer decide to fully dedicate yourself to playing all out. Do not half-ass this. This is something that if you're serious about it, you will accomplish some great things in your life. But if you're skeptical or on the fence, it's not for you. So with that said, stay tuned for this next video coming up because you are not going to want to miss it. I'm telling you, this is some stuff that could really, literally change your life. I'll see you in the next video. And like I always say, have a good one.